other one? Because can we honestly say that men are black men are not more so the dominatory force now, or now it's literally the women that have the dominatory force? I'm gonna ask y'all guys that because that dictates whether people are going to go in the home now. Like, does a man want to go under the woman's subjugated rule, or the woman wants to go under the subjugated rule of a man? Like, we got to ask these questions. I pass it over to y'all.
Well, I answer that.
Take your time.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother.
Well, currently under this system, by default, you're going to go under the woman's subjugation as long as she has the ability to call the cops and get you kicked out of your own house or do whatever the case, file a domestic abuse or divorce. As long as she has a system on her side, you're going to be subjugated under her. But as a man, you can circumvent that by not creating any attachments to females and living this responsible pump and dump life. I'm not irresponsible. Responsible pump and dump life. It will keep you from coming under the subjugation of any female. And if you focus on your money, it also leaves you to have the options of many females, and they will let you do whatever you want. So I'm just saying, like, if you get into a relationship or a marriage with a female, yes, you will be subjugated by her. But if you stay free and stay focused on yourself as a man of self-improvement, then then she would be under your subjugation when you guys deal with each other. So it depends on how you operate.
Okay. All right. Anybody has a response to what Ramil said, or literally there's no fault in what he said? Ramil, I know he has some strong gospel. This is not for the faint.
What is this pump and dump? What is pump and dump life? Like,
why you have
what pump and dump is, man? This ain't nothing new, man.
She know what it is because she didn't. I know what pump and dump is.
You have a whole philosophy on it, like a whole.
It's some new shit. Oh, y'all niggas crazy. Come on now. You know what pump and dump.
We know pump and dump.
Don't you have like a whole what is it, like a 2-hour long video, a 2-hour 26-minute long video? Pump and dump is life. What is this?
Yeah.
Like,
she didn't know your ass,
Goddamn, everybody see that video but me. Everybody know about that video.
Yeah, she don't pull it up on you, boy. She got you.
Yeah, I went in on that one. But pump, it's basically. See, pump and dump life is basically, it's not really about sex. All right, pump and dump is about not only are you constantly bringing in a new rotation of women in your life, but it's staying fresh as a man. You're bringing new money, new information, new everything in your life consistently.
It sounds stress-free. It sounds very stress-free.
It's very stress-free. I have a peace of mind, and I have clear thinking every day. So I'm not worried about a nagging ass female at the house all day. But it's not just about sex. It's just about keeping new everything coming in your life. So as a man, you can stay fresh and stay on the cutting edge of things and keep reinventing yourself and just becoming better as time goes.
Yes,
it's a philosophy. It's not about sex.
That's absolutely right. I mean, because the thing is, going back to
likewise, you agree with him?
Yes, of course.
Lord have mercy. Ramil is goddamn.
Yes, because the thing is
I agree with some of what he said. I'm married. I agree with some of what he said.
Yes,
I'm married.
You have to because
some real shit.
Ramil got married men agreeing with him, boy. Oh,
hey,
boy.
Man, it is what it is, man. Shit.
Yeah, boy. I think you
I have a question.
Live your life, man.
Go ahead, Toni. Go ahead, Toni.
Ramil, do you believe in soul ties? Like, what about that?
I believe you talking about that, like the esoteric side of things.
Yeah.
I think that affects women. That doesn't affect me as a man. I can have sex with 100 women.
We got.
I mean, like it's just. No, I'm just saying I can have sex with 100 women. It's not going to affect me. But the female, you're internal. The male's external. I'm not taking anything. You're receiving, and you're receiving male DNA. You're receiving the male phallus. So it affects females. That stuff is for females. As a man, by nature, I'm meant to spread my seed far and wide. That's just how biology works, And by nature, a woman's not, because she can only get pregnant once every 9 months. A man can get impregnated female 365 days a year if he wants to. So the esoteric side, to me, it really only affects the female side. Male can really do what he wants and not be affected.
As they always have since the beginning of time.
You really okay. But you understand that the exchange of energy is both ways, right? It goes both ways.
How does it affect the men?
Because
does he hit the
are
wall or
energy.
something, or what happens to the men? Do he fall apart
No,
after 35?
You are receiving DNA as well. Like this is
But what
why you
happens
can
to him
even
once he receives too much DNA?
contract
What's
an
the negative?
STD because you're
Well, actually, I'm
Oh,
not receiving DNA. Actually, the science is actually out there. It's called microchimerism. It's the female that retains the DNA of the man for life. And you can actually look this up. And every man she has sex with, she retains the DNA of that man. And actually, that DNA can actually find its way up to her brain and affect her thinking patterns. This has actually been scientifically proven.
That's why they so crazy.
Microchimerism.
But speaking to
microchimerism.
Go on, pull up BMT.
But
help
that's
a Negro.
Biological, right? Like we're talking like actual physical anatomy here, right? Like biological functions, and I'm talking about like soul ties, like the exchange of energy, the exchange of someone else's vibration.
Well, the female energy is weaker than the. I mean, if I come in contact with female energy, it's not going to affect me the same as a female coming in contact with male energy. I mean, because I'm spiritually stronger than females, it doesn't have the same effect. I mean, we're not the same. We're not equal.
So what do you use to support that logic that you're stronger spiritually
Well,
than female?
that's like me asking you, what do you use to support the soul tied argument in general? I mean, we're talking about esoteric, so you're trying to bring scientific verification into esoteric properties. I mean, like I said, it's obvious that women are, they're more susceptible to temptation. They're more susceptible to that. That's why you guys spend the most money, because you guys are impulse buyers. I mean, you guys are more susceptible to things that men aren't. Not saying men are perfect, but I mean, we do know who is the, and I hate to, like I said, you say you weren't trying to make this a gender war. It's not a gender war, but we know who the stronger sex is. I mean, without trying to, fuck it, we know who the stronger sex is.
I don't.
I mean, women are the receivers. I mean,
the men are physically stronger. We're more logical. We literally invent everything on the planet. I mean, it's aeronautics, engineering. We are more sound. 25% of women are actually diagnosed with mental issues. That's a fact too. We can look that up. You can look it up. I'm not talking out the side of my ass. So it's not to, not to downplay what women bring to the table, even though it's not much. But the man is like on another level. So
even though it's not much.
My boy Savage, get him.
Wow, you really don't like women then, huh?
No, I do. I love hanging around women.
Like women and get pussy. That don't make sense. Yeah, of course you like women.
I love hanging around women. It's just that women waste a lot of time. But I don't hate women or anything like that. I hang around women. Look, I love hanging around women. It's just that when it comes to productivity and staying on point, you got to limit your time with them, because women have different goals in life: beauty, vanity, comfort, security. A man's goal is conquering, power, wealth, control. Those are two different paths.
Very true.
But that's very broad and very generalized. I don't think that applies to every.
I mean, men are simple.
But even if we were to use those categorizations to describe, or to even put women in this box and put men in that box, my basic feeling here is or understanding here is that you generally don't like women. You can be attracted
Let's
to
go
women.
a little deeper than that. Don't say what everybody else be saying on the outside. Let's go deeper.
You can be attracted to women. You can have sexual relations with women. You can enjoy a female's company in particular, but you genuinely dislike them, I think. Because for you to say that they are lesser than you, lower than you, not equal to you,
they're not.
That's volumes. I mean, it took two to make you. You are literally.
So do you think men and women are equal? You really think men and women are equal?
Absolutely, they're just polar opposites. They're on in a dynamic. They're absolutely.
What proof do you have that men and women are equal?
Same proof that you're using to say that they're not equal. It's actually a an argument against that. Like you can't
Who
say
builds society? Who
can't,
aeronautics, engineering, sciences, mathematics, who came up and mastered these concepts and built the
well
infrastructure of
that
society?
wasn't but that wasn't attestation to that was not an attestation to women being inept or unable or incapable of creating.
I didn't
That
say
was
that. I just said that men
purely an
built
act
it.
that was purely evidence of a patriarchal society. That's what that was. When women
No,
were
that's
barefoot and
evidence of
pregnant and we
that
were
genius of
unable.
men.
No, I don't think so. I really don't.
Men built
What?
the men not build airplanes, the men not build the plumbing systems, the men not build the houses that you're living in. The men not
Yeah, but
built
you wouldn't
the
be here if it
YouTube
wasn't for a
platform
woman,
on.
though. You
Well,
wouldn't be here
well,
if it
There you
well.
wasn't for
go.
a
Yeah,
Can I can I
woman.
but a
can
woman,
I chime in?
yeah, you
Let's
you
get
Okay,
the
wait, wait,
ball
wait, wait,
rolling,
wait, wait,
goddamn.
wait,
Let's
wait.
get it
function.
popping,
Hold
motherfucker.
on, hold on, wait. We have my brother Amari, and he's here, one of the great debaters. Lord have mercy. I didn't think this boy. Listen, Ra Clement must have been came down from the heavens himself. If Amari came, what's going on, Amari? Because this is going to be very interesting. Boy, this ain't even Friday, boy. Y'all got me drinking
How
Coronas
y'all
and
doing?
trying to keep my mind like
We
Lord have
chilling,
mercy.
brother. We good, brother.
Shout
What's
out to,
happening?
I gotta make sure I spit
Nothing much.
at y'all, boy. Amari, you've been hearing what's going on.
Uh,
Tony, you've been listening to Ramil, and likewise, and Healthy. Me, I'm just a
right.
bystander, just drinking. What do you think of
Um,
everything that's been going on? Go ahead.
well, number one, male and female are without a doubt equals. It's asinine to assert that they're not. Just because they have different roles doesn't mean one is greater than the other. This is where you get the duality and balance from.
I
That's
can agree.
number one. That's number one. Number two, if you say that men have built all these great things, let us acknowledge that the woman or the mother is the first teacher of men because she's the first nurturer, the first conduit of information. You see, and so what happens when you make it a genderized thing and only want to say, okay, well, this is what men do. Men build societies and women build children. You see what I mean? So it's going to always be a thing where you have two parts that must operate equally to make efficient and proficient men. Men are not
There's no
created
such thing as equality.
men are not created in a vacuum. And if there's no such thing as equality, then you can't really say that men are superior to women, because then what you're in essence saying is that then
Somebody has to
what
dominate the
you're in
other.
essence saying, let me finish. What you're in essence saying is that then you would then see certain elements where females are more dominant than males. See, you can't make these arguments based on nature and want to cherry
Should
pick,
be
brother.
dominant in the kitchen.
Why can you not make
Can
the
I please
argument?
finish? Can I please finish?
Let him finish,
You
guys.
can't you can't cherry pick what you want to cherry pick from nature. If we're going to cite nature as somehow showing male dominance, then we have to go to species where the female is dominant, like hyenas, for example. You see what I mean?
That's a
So
wonderful example for them. Hyenas, goddamn. Hyenas.
Male and female is replete throughout creation. It's not specific to humans. It's not specific to
Well,
humans. And
if you want to go the nature route,
if you are telling me that it's specific to humans, well, then what you're not arguing nature, you're arguing a social construct. If you tell me it's specific
it's
to humans,
both. First of all, in nature, most species the male are dominant. It's an anomaly when the
it
female is
doesn't.
dominant. It's from the animal kingdom.
That's not true, brother. That's not true.
That is very
That
true.
is
That is
not true.
males.
That is not true, brother.
So you're telling me the majority of animal species, the female sex
I
dominates
didn't say
in
anything.
the animal kingdom?
I didn't say anything about one being a majority or not. You said when you have an example of of female being dominant in nature, that's an anomaly. No, it's not. It's not an anomaly.
It's the
It's
majority of
naturally occurring.
in the majority of species in nature, the male's dominant. That is a scientific fact.
Okay.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I won't say that. I won't say that you're wrong. But
I know
again,
I'm not wrong. And then in a social construct,
No, wait a minute.
And here's the thing, bro. One more thing. There's no such thing as equality. Okay, this is just something that black people have an issue with.
Exactly. There's no such thing as equality. Equality comes from the larger social group. And if the larger social group dictates that men and women are equal, then in that larger social group, men and women are equal. The first societies, brother, were not hierarchies, they were egalitarian.
What society are you talking about?
The earliest societies, the hunter-gatherer societies, were not patriarchal, brother. They were egalitarian.
Okay, but the societies that actually built something that lasts were patriarchal. The society that dominates black people today is patriarchal.
Right, but that's that's not to. Wait a minute. That's not. Do we understand how we got patriarchy? Patriarchy is a function of technology, because with the agricultural revolution and the inventions that made
agriculture. There was patriarchy before technology, brother.
And hold on. And the inventions that made domestication of animals, irrigation of systems, and all these different things that made that possible. That's what gave you patriarchy, because what happened?
There was patriarchy before that, brother.
Before that, you didn't have any patriarchy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, technology is not.
That must be the European history
before technology,
bro.
European
history. I understand. I get it.
Before that, you did not have. Right. Before that, you did not have any patriarchal societies. The societies were egalitarian. They were hunter-gatherers. The men hunted and the women gathered. That's balance. That's equality. The roles are different, but both must do their roles equally for the society or the group to function. That is equality. What you're arguing, what you're in essence saying is that because someone
that's not equality.
Yeah, that is
one
equality.
Role is dominant over the other. The one
that is absolutely
one role. Bro, you're equating different roles with equality.
So let me ask you a question.
Other.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Well, give me one patriarchal society that's totally male. Just one.
You said totally male, bro.
Give me one. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Hold up, bro. That question doesn't even make sense.
That's some gay shit.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
I see. I see. You trying to slide that in there.
The bottom line is you can't point to one patriarchal society that's totally male, because.
Well, who would want to be in a patriarchal society
that's all male? Matriarchal society that's totally male.
In order for patriarchy to exist, you need the woman equally as you need the men. Men and women are equals. Next topic. I'm not going to belabor the point. Go read an anthropology.
I mean, bro, like I said, first of all, your question didn't make no sense, because in order for a patriarchy
book. It don't get more patriarchal than an all male society, though. So
that's
explain
false,
that.
because part of patriarchy is extending your lineage, and you need females to extend your lineage.
Exactly. So the female role is just as important as the male role. They are equal.
No. Just because the female gets the men without no.
Because it's the yin and the yang. You need an egg and sperm.
Let her go.
In order to have. To prolong the race, you can't say that we're beneath you, we're not equal to you, but you need us to have children. Like, we're equal.
First of all, the numbers even say that's why nature creates more females than men, because the one that's more scarce is the one that's more valuable. What the female does, her one value is the fact that she births kids. Outside of that, anything she can do can be done by a man, but there are certain things that men can do that a woman just cannot do.
But that does not denote, right, inferiority. That's just different. That's just
somebody has to dominate the other.
No, but that's not. No. Stop.
Men are more logical. We're physically stronger. We have more long-term thinking skills. We have more critical thinking skills. I mean,
this goes back to my original question.
So you don't want to be dominated by a man?
I said. I asked who hurt you, because you honestly
don't want your man to dominate you.
I don't try to put you in any way, but it really does sound like you're really, really hurt. Like some woman.
That's what I like. Somebody hurt you.
Why I got this old talking point. We gotta leave that in 2019, man.
I have a question for you.
That's that old talking point, boy. Somebody hurt you, brother.
Bottom line,
you don't like your mama, nigga. You don't like your mama.
Do some more. Y'all need to go do a little more research on patriarchy. Next topic.
I have a question, Tony. Why do you assume that because somebody
It depends who wrote the book, though. I mean, we talking about white people.
Hold on, wait.
Who we talking about?
Go ahead, likewise. Go ahead.
I have a question. Why do you assume that because somebody doesn't want to be in a relationship and wants to concentrate on himself, that he's been hurt? You know what I mean? Because it seems like yes, it is, because he explained to you the situation. He's like, you know what? I have transgressions. I like sex. I like being around a lot of different women. But at the end of the day, I need to take care of me. Slowing down, getting somebody pregnant, having a child, and getting married, and all that stuff is not for me at this point in time. That doesn't mean.
But don't women want a successful man that's already built up, that got his business handled? Isn't this what y'all want? The man is taking time out for himself to get his shit together.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Y'all want to cheer that on like I'll see you when you get to the top, bro.
Let her respond.
Let her respond.
Just allow me to respond.
Go ahead,
I'm trying to. You funny though. You funny. Like
he's definitely BMT.
Cool.
He's 120% BMT.
But it's okay. I'm not funny.
I'm the more
blood flowing. You know what I'm saying?
I'm the more common. He's our hype guy.
We cool. Let me respond. Like I'm just trying to respond. Like he asked me a question. I want to respond. So he asked, why do I assume that because Ramil doesn't want to date or take anyone seriously and he wants to put himself first that he's hurt, right? Why do I assume that? First of all, I don't assume that because he doesn't want to date. First of all, the understanding that I had was totally different. My understanding is that he wants to have self-love and take care of himself and prioritize himself and just not commit to relationships. No, that's not what I'm thinking is the thing here, first and foremost. The thing here, what Ramil is saying is misogyny. Straight up, or misogyny.
Yes, it is. I am a misogynist. Yep. I'm a chauvinist. I am a
Please don't flag the channel, feminists. Please, nobody. Don't flag the channel.
Hate women.
We love women.
I'm not gonna say that based on him wanting to take care of himself and love himself and not focus on any relationship that means that he's hurt. That's dumb. Like, you're supposed to love yourself and take care of yourself and put yourself first. So that's not why I said that. Why I said that is everything else that he said, how women are not equal and how we are just basically baby makers and how men have to dominate and how women should submit everything to them. And all of that it's hateful.
But here's the thing though, Tony.
That's not hateful. A study came out that women are more happy when they have less choices. They're less happier today when they have all these choices. You can look that up as well. I mean,
I would like to ask a question.
Go ahead, Amar.
Because the brother was referencing the things that men do, and I referenced the agricultural revolution. I would like these brothers to answer: who was responsible for food production, the male or the female?
Just one at a time, please. One at a time.
Production, as in like.
Who was responsible? Who was responsible for food production? So, for example, who would be responsible for turning barley or wheat into bread? Who did that?
2 minute answers, please. Please, 2 minutes. I got to limit y'all, nigga.
You saying as far as machinery?
No, I'm not saying as far as machinery. I'm talking about early on in human development. The females were in charge of the food production.
Yeah, after the man tilled the land.
To the women.
Exactly.
So after the man tilled the land.
So guess what? So guess what? Everything that we do as human beings, as organisms in our environment habitat is for getting food. That's what we do. That's what we do. Everything that we do is for either the acquisition, maintenance, and protection of our food supply.
I can agree with that.
And so what this means when we all can acknowledge that the women were in charge of food production, then you understand.
I never said they were in charge.
They were. They were the food
I can agree with that.
They were the food producers. That's what they did. And men can't
because
go
the
on
farming that had to be done to get the crops.
Go ahead. One at a time.
Can I finish?
Men
can't go on and do those other things if they don't have food.
But what does
you understand?
What does
If,
that?
if the men don't have food, he can't think logically. He can't
Bro,
think about.
we wasn't in them fields,
can't-
bro.
He can't
Who
think about.
tilled the
Hold on,
land?
hold on.
No. One at
He
a time.
can't think of if he has a growling belly, he can't think about conquest, brother. He can't think about creating systems.
Bro,
He
you
can't
didn't
think
answer my
about
question though.
He can't think about creating infrastructure. So what you're still
Who
going
tilled the land
to
for
come
the
back
food?
to. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Say that again.
Who tilled the land for the
Who first
food?
tilled
Who
the
grows
land
the
for the
crops?
food?
Who is going out
First
and
tilled
actually
the
creating the environment for the food to become possible?
Okay.
It's
Both men and
men.
women.
It's not
First
even an
tilled the land.
option.
No. The men were the hunters, brother. See, it's the reason why we say the men bring home the bacon. So, see, the men dealt with the meat component because the men were hunters. The women dealt with the agriculture, not the men, because women are the natural food supply and food producers in society, and it's the
I
same
do
thing.
know the female lion do
It's the same
bring the
thing
food
throughout
home. I know that for sure.
Like even if you look at a lion tribe, the lions don't hunt, the females hunt.
The female get the food.
Right.
I know that for damn kill. I know that for damn.
Right. So all
Okay, but who runs the show? I mean, golly, who runs the pride?
Who protects the pride?
Let me finish. All I'm simply saying is that when we look at these things from a place of where we try and use our attributes, our physical characteristics and attributes to oppress one
And
another,
mental.
or mental, whatever you want to say. All I'm simply saying is that as we've become more advanced in our human development, we understand that just because you're bigger and stronger than someone, it doesn't give you the right to dominate someone. This is where we get the idea of equality from.
Why not?
You're correct. Equality does not exist equality does not exist, but it's a political term, a socio-political and economic term. So in our social systems, we create equality.
No, you don't. There's no equality under this system either.
Yes, we do.
Let me ask you a question.
Who's equal under this social?
I'm speaking in general. Equality is a socio-political term, and it originated with John Lockean philosophy. That's where it came from. Men see, like when you look at the Constitution, it says we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men were created equal. That's the first time in human history where
who were created equal?
So the white man brought us this bullshit, this equality bullshit. The white man.
All men. See what all I'm saying is.
Why doesn't it say all women and men? How come it doesn't say all men and women?
Well, we know why. I mean, we know why. We know why it doesn't say women, but you're missing my point. You're missing my point. What I'm saying is that prior to that that tenet being put in the Constitution, men were not seen as equals amongst themselves either. So when you make it a gender-based argument to say, okay, well, men are over women, that's not really weighted with comparative studies across class and culture in various societies. Like, so for example, if you had a king and this king had a daughter and her daughter belonged to the royal class, that daughter was still over a man who was a peasant.
So
you see what I'm saying? She was still over him. She wasn't beneath him simply because she was a woman.
Now,
now you're talking about different class systems and
exactly.
I mean,
hang on. Let's
I'm talking about in general.
Let's hold on. Let me ask you a question.
My bad.
Let me get you. I got you, brother. Because
y'all go ahead. I'm listening. And go ahead.
I'm definitely going to set up Amari. You and Ramil are definitely going to have a talk. That just. You already know y'all brothers got to sit down and talk. God damn it! Well, I'm gonna have to be sober for that.
I'm gonna say this, man. Like what Ramil is saying.
And I'm gonna need a drink for that.
You know what? I've been in
that's gonna be a great show.
Situation for a long time, bro. And I'm gonna tell you, when you're in that situation, and the harder you push, the better you make yourself, the more women come to you, the more attractive women come to you, the more women that got things going on. So it's hard to stop because it just keeps getting better and better and better and better and better.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's like either you're with the program or you're not. There's a place for everybody in this lifestyle. If you're not down with this, go find somebody and get married to that person. Mm-hmm. But if you want to play this game, you want to step into my kingdom, you know what? There's rules, stipulations, and policies that go along with that. You know what I'm saying? You don't just come knock at my door. I don't care if you knock at the door. You got to go out in your car and call me or something. You can't show up unannounced. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna just dispose all my personal information on everything about me. Don't try to get close to me unless I open up to you. You know what I'm saying? If things stretch out, they start going a little bit further, then we'll see where it goes. But you know what I'm saying, if you see me all the time with different women, you know what, then you better assume. You know what I'm saying? Don't come in here and try to change me, because this is not like somebody that you met at the club that, you know what I'm saying, you out with your girls and you try to meet somebody and hook up. No, you see me doing what I do. You know what I'm saying? This is real life. So it's not necessarily a hatred thing. It's just like, especially for a black man, when you see a black man doing his thing and he pushing and pushing and pushing, you leave that alone. Don't you dare slow that down. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to have him. You can have one of his friends maybe or something like that. But, you know, no, I'm just calling it how it is.
No, you good. You good. Likewise, you good.
You know, it's crazy. You know, it's crazy how I'm seen as a misogynist. But the guy who just came on the panel, I mean, that's the type of guy who these females out here playing to the left. You know what I mean? Guys like him who think we're all equal, who got that type of voice. That's the type of guy. That's the type of guy who these females be playing to the left.
Now I got a question. Now hang on.
But my misogynist says, you know what I mean, they're gonna open up real quick. I mean, that's just what I'm not trying to be like cocky nothing, but that's just what it is. Guys like that who think like him get played with.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Yes,
because
they do.
What I don't think you realize is,
they get the worst.
You know what?
Hold on, y'all. Let her lie real quick. Go ahead.
Oh God, how you gonna let she lying? Come on, stop that. Go ahead, Toni.
It's funny, but the thing about it is, I don't think. Okay, my phone is overheating.
Okay.
I just got
we about to wrap it up, Toni. We about to just when it's getting good, yo. Just when it's getting good. Lord have mercy. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that was a fair assessment. You don't even really know Amiri, and honestly, like a lot of what what happened?
No, you good.
A lot of what you said actually, that's not gonna get you any play with any female women that's quality. I don't think any woman who has any sense of self-worth, I don't think you're gonna get anywhere with.
You know why? You know why? Because when women
let her finish. Likewise, let her finish.
I'm just saying the way that you are articulating yourself, it sounds very misogynistic. And any woman who is, who has any sense of self-worth would not fall for that shit, would not be in it at all. She would actually play you to the left and gravitate towards someone like Amiri, because what Amiri is
really?
True.
Oh my goodness!
You guys, y'all doing the most. You're doing the most for my game. Come on now.
Because
she telling the truth though. That's how it is though.
No,
Ramil gonna keep it pushing though. It's not gonna hurt brothers like him.
But hold on now. But here's the thing about I gotta ask you, men. You literally are hearing from and we can't lie and say Toni looks bad. You can't say she's not a catch. I mean, she does everything for herself, and she's saying that she would choose a guy like
now Ramil.
First of all, we are not doing this right now, so shut up.
I's married, so I don't know you looking like that. But I get
I'm
what
not
you're
playing
saying.
with you tonight.
But I'm just speaking from what I'm being honest, and I'm probably speaking for women like me when I say if I heard you speaking that way about women in general, I would think something's wrong. Something's wrong there. That sounds like
you don't have
and it's crazy because once again
you don't
honestly, it sounds like if I would have met you, Ramil, and we were to go out just to grab some coffee or whatever, and we're just talking, chopping it up, bong, bing, boom, and you start talking that shit the way you're talking right now, I promise you, I would say it was nice meeting you. Have a good day.
Well, that wouldn't come out.
It's not about.
Hold on, real quick. First of all,
and that's not an attack on you. I'm not trying to play
it's cool. It's just when I meet a female. When I meet a female, I'm not gonna talk about all the stuff anyway. I'm not gonna talk about that after I smash anyway. But the other thing is that science. Once again, we gotta go back to science because this is the most logical thing we can keep track of. First of all, there's already a study out that women prefer misogynistic assholes over the soft guy by like half over, like more than 50% over. Like this has already been proven. There's already studies on it. Guys like Amiri who come like that, those are the guys who, you know, they 1 in 3 females go on a date just for food. That's the guy who's taking females out on dates and they're using him for food. I mean, you could be disingenuous as you want. I know I ain't gonna, you know, I know you got to keep a safe face, but we know the deal. In your private life, or if we know the deal, we know what type of guys that females like. You guys like assholes, and you know it's just crazy how y'all get on this YouTube, put up a front like y'all like them soft ass guys.
Though. If that's not it though, then I might be a fucking unicorn, because explain to me why I'm unbothered, self-sufficient. I am not tethered to no man, and that is by choice. And I have all the self-love in 2020. And you can't put me in a box with those women and say that I like these type of men, because absolutely not. I have repellent for these type of men. Okay. Now, when you say a Mary in this case would be the beta male, no, absolutely not. In this case, he's actually the alpha male, because y'all are in here talking all this bullshit against women, and you come from a woman. So
yeah, but
I don't see how that.
Tony, we're talking about a way of life. All this stuff we're talking about, we don't. When you meet a woman or we're doing our thing, doing your thing, you don't have to say anything. They know what's up.
I can't hear enough to nobody saying. Y'all gonna talk at the same time.
One at a time, you guys. God damn.
Go ahead, Evie.
Basically, I was saying he's not your alpha if he didn't put a ring on it yet, so you don't know what he is.
No, I'm saying in this
environment, you don't know what he is, so you can't compare him to us.
When he came on, when he came on in this environment, and if I was to assess every male here, excluding the host, because I got love and respect for the host, every male here who has spoken and said the shit that y'all been saying, I would say he was the alpha male, because he was the only one that came in here and made any fucking
sense.
Black
woman is God.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
How does that sound, sister?
Yeah.
The black woman is God. Mother Earth. Cream
Wait, you believe the black woman is God?
Who, me?
You trolling. You're fucking are you behind the wheel right now?
It made you smile when I said it, didn't it? It made you smile when I said it, didn't it?
Healthy, don't be saying that Kimmy shit on my damn panel. You know damn well we don't be running with that shit. Stop that stuff, man.
Had you drinking tonight, sir? Are you behind the wheel? License and registration, please. That's how you sound. You trolling.
Don't start that up in here.
One thing I've learned is you listen to women's actions, not what she say. Like women will do the exact opposite of what they say. They just say they want this, they say they want the good guy, they say they want the marriage and all that stuff, but you pay attention to the actions. They initiate most of the divorces, 80%. You know what I mean? They especially on the black side, they make babies with the worst of the men. I mean, like I said, you listen to the actions, not what they say.
And
like
then they want to wake up at 45 years old and yes, it's the patriarchy and everything wrong with y'all and misogyny and all that.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, it sounds good. You know what I mean?
Your 20s.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, guys.
You know what I mean? But
we're gonna have to wrap this up.
Yes.
Like I said, Tony's phone is hot. I'm definitely gonna let me go ahead and do the advertising for tonight. First of all, let me thank everybody who came. Toni, Ramil, Amari, Healthy, likewise. You all did a good job. Shout out to Mama. God damn it. Ramil running away, goddamn Mama. You know
my bad, man. My bad. We should never put that link out.
Yeah, Mama definitely went in. We got to get her back, man.
Yeah, we're getting Mama back. We will get her back. We'll get her back. But goddamn it, that damn masculine energy from goddamn Ramil, boy. You can't take him nowhere.
Thanks for having me on, man. Thanks for having me
on. You know, you fam. You know what I'm saying? So I like I said, it's all love. Toni, shout out to you.
Yes.
This is your first show, and you came out and you did your thing. You guys, I think this is really good because right now, we definitely have to actually have a talk with Ramil and also Amari sometime. So I'm gonna definitely set it up where I'm gonna have one day with just Ramil.
Don't save her.
And yes. Likewise, stop it. God damn it. You know.
Come on, Ramil, jump in. Don't save her.
No, we're not. We're not doing that right now. After that, we're gonna have a talk with Amari. But we already know, and it's already destined. In 2020, it's gonna those two are definitely. It's like doggone Rocky and the Russian. Like sooner or later, these two gonna have to meet. So
I already know where that conversation is gonna go.
That is going. You know that's
I
going to
already
be.
know where
You
that
know that it is
conversation is
going to
gonna
be
go.
an amazing
It
conversation.
is.
But it's not like the brother. They're not dumb, and they both are very smart men. So it's not like some of these panels where they just start doing dissing and stuff.
Are you hedging bets? Because I already got my bet in where that's gonna go.
Ooh, you know what? No, we're not gonna play.
Amiri don't play that shit.
We are gonna place bets. We are gonna place bets. Oh my, yeah, we're literally placing bets on who's gonna win this debate. Hey, you know this is gonna be a crazy debate but Ramel's gonna be bringing some stuff, and Ramel be like, I don't have to study. Like,
I don't. This is easy.
He's like, I don't have to study.
This is easy.
Now. Y'all go ahead now. You better read up on it.
I know Amari. Amari's gonna be throwing some dates out, and he gonna try. He gonna like. I don't want because both of them are friends, and I love them both. They both are really good contenders. See, I definitely want to, and I think that's how it should be. Where there should be fresh blood of two men, talking when they're not doing slighted stuff, but literally actually arguing out. Yo, like it is what it is. This is the facts. Like if you can't accept it, there's something that is wrong with you. So definitely we're going to definitely have this conversation. Let me go ahead and get Tone Talks out. I got to go grab that channel. But first off, let's go ahead and do y'all advertising. And I want y'all to tell us about y'all channel while y'all do that, and literally we can go from there. So let me first start off with Toni, because she did an amazing job. And you know what I'm saying? We got to go ahead. Toni, can you go ahead and tell us about your channel while I go ahead and put the music for you? Go ahead.
My channel is very, very new as of November, literally just created. So it's a baby. And right now it's really just streaming lives from my Facebook group, Toni Let's Talk. Most of the videos on Facebook. So if you follow with me, you can catch me there. I'm building and currently that's what I'm doing on my YouTube channel. I'm just like a baby in this. So I really do appreciate you having me on. I'm looking forward to 2020 to see what happens. I'm just in that there and say thank you again because my phone is really heating up.
I got you there. I got you. We're gonna get that laptop going. Ramil, you on, brother? Go ahead. Tell us about your channel, fam.
I mean, yeah, I know what it is. Just come through.